right, let's move on. So we had the trade deadline and everything like that. Let's recap week 8. It was solid, interesting week to say the least. As far as our predictions, I guess I'll just say the score right now. I lost 2 of my guarantees. I guaranteed that the Cardinals would win. You know what happened there. And because Trevis decided to guarantee that the Panthers would win, I decided stupidly that, you know what? I got this. Let me go lock in on the Falcons. And they lost 2. So right now I went from having a 3-point lead a couple weeks ago to being tied this past week to now being down by 4. I am down 81-77. Trevis is taking the lead for the first time. So, hey, big celebration. Trevis is just taking the lead.
Man, I'm not giving the lead back either. I'm running with this.
Well, not so sure about that. But either way. So it was a rough week for me on my predictions. Either way, let's start off with the biggest.
Packers versus Cardinals. This is how we started out week 8. And it was, man.
Probably with the game of the week.
Man, Aaron Rodgers. What is he, bro?
He's a bad man. Woo!
And, man, didn't know who he was going to throw the ball to this game.
And let's just say this, too. I also don't think Aaron Rodgers did anything. Actually, I was more surprised with this Packers defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Aaron Rodgers took over the game, scored 40.
No.
It was nothing like that.
He did what he could with the weapons that he had.
So, I honestly, I already got to say this. So, Randall Cobb had a good game. He scored 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. Aaron Jones kind of carried the offense a little bit.
That running game, Dillon, too, A.J. Dillon.
I'm disappointed in the Cardinals.
Yeah, okay.
Because I feel like you got to score more points than that. And on top of that, I feel like they handled the last drive wrong. I didn't like the way they did it. Mm-hmm. Because it's the last play. So they drove down the field and there's 12 seconds left. What I would have did is actually run a play. Not call timeout where they know you're just going to run a fade route.
Yeah.
And then kick the field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, AJ Green, who definitely should retire.
I think he did in the middle of that game.
Yeah. After the game, he deleted his social media. You know, he hasn't talked to his family in a couple days. They don't respect him anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, screw what AJ Green did early in his career, man. This play right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. I have to agree. I have to say, so you pretty much answered the question I was going to ask. Does this say more for the Packers or more for the Cardinals?
Yeah, I think it was the Cardinals that lost the game. It's obviously the Packers still played a great game.
Yeah,
but
I know it's a weird saying when you say like, did this team win or did you just lose?
Yeah,
it sounds like a weird statement, but in a sense, that Russell Westbrook, but in a way, it holds some truth.
Yeah,
right. Like, you know. Was this more on you guys, or did the other team, was they just better? I don't think the Packers are a better team. Nah. I don't. I thought that this was just a disappointing outing for the Cardinals. And
they didn't play terrible, though. It just wasn't good enough.
No, but here's the thing, man. There's 2 problems that I have with it. First of all, this stout Cardinals defense just came out flat against a team that was badly hurt. And the other thing is, this isn't an exceptional Packers defense. No. Aren't they still missing Jair Alexander, who's not going to come back until later in the year? Zadarius Smith. So basically, their 2 best defensive players
aren't even out on the field.
Are not even out there. You had Stokes, who's a rookie cornerback, having to go against DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins also got, I think, hurt. At some point in the game.
DeAndre Hopkins, I'm starting to really look at him, and he's not the number 1 receiver in the league anymore. I'm not seeing it. I don't know who's number 1.
Oh, I know who number 1 is.
Anyways,
it's Tay. It's Devontae.
You could say it's Devontae, but he didn't play this last game, so I'm not gonna.
Okay, but then
I wanted to see D-Hop versus Devontae. Okay, but I wanted to see that.
Are you going to tell me that if Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams that the Packers don't actually just blow out the Cardinals with the way the Cardinals play?
D-Hop, though, but
I'd put Devontae 1. Who are you putting over Devontae then? Please just. Humor me.
There's no one I'll put.
Exactly.
But, you know,
Thank you. Because Devontae Adams is the best receiver.
I wanted to see this wide receiver matchup.
No, I get you. I get you.
D-Hop versus Devontae. See the comparison.
I get you.
But we didn't get
here's the one thing I got to commend for the Packers. Matt LaFleur has been underrated a lot of his career, but he deserves some respect.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. Because I love the game plan the Packers came out with, especially offensively. We know Matt LaFleur is the offensive mastermind, right, for that team. So he's one of those head coaches that focuses on the offense in the play calling and then lets someone else run the defense. Mm-hmm. So credit to the defensive coordinator. They came out with a plan to make sure to put pressure on Murray and to cover the short routes. They didn't want Murray to get the ball out quick.
They don't really have a big deep threat.
No, and they had that one big throw, and actually you could see where that started to hurt them in the end, the way they were playing up so much and trying to put focus on the pressure. Because then by the end of the drive, they were actually hitting a lot of deep shots. I remember they did hit one to DeAndre Hopkins early in the game. Then driving down the field on the final drive, they hit DeAndre Hopkins deep. I think they hit another one with Christian Kirk deep. So they're finally taking advantage of the Packers' sort of tight coverage. But offensively, I love what they did with the way they didn't want to give Chandler Jones or any of that defensive line any chance. So they focused on the run game, power running right up the middle. Our guys are just going to outpower you guys.
Oh, yeah.
We had A.J. Dillon. We have Aaron Jones. And they did short routes, 2 screens. A lot of dink and dunk. Just slowly, it was the Brady style of, just slowly picking you off and just moving down the field methodically. And you hit your couple deep ones because the defense starts to move up. But I love the way that they work the screen game. They just, if you're gonna keep giving it to us, we're gonna keep taking it. So,
and it proved to really hurt the Cardinals.
Yes, and so Matt LaFleur deserves a lot of credit. I think he deserves the most credit, actually, for this Packers win, and a big win for the Packers, who are now sitting pretty first in the NFC right now.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see how long that lasts. Let's move on to the 49ers.
Yeah, Dro. You guys got a dub.
Finally.
That's a dub. We eating dubs over here.
This feels good. It felt good to have a victory Monday for the first time in a long time for this Niners team. Jimmy Garoppolo played his best game of the season.
Yep.
Passing 17 to 28 and 322 yards passing, as well as 2 rushing touchdowns for Garoppolo. Justin Fields also had his best game of the season.
I still think that he needs to develop more as a passer.
I saw it though. You see the seeds. Here's the thing: he's a rookie.
He's really very dominant in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
He's very scary in that, but I want him to be more scary in the passing because I know he has a lot of arm talent as well. Yes. But I don't really see it that often.
Okay, so the one thing I'll say about the Chicago before I go into my Niners a little bit is with Justin Fields. Remember, this is like kind of similar to Lamar Jackson. Justin Fields relying a little more on his legs than he is his arm right now. Yeah. Although Justin Fields is showing much more promise right now with his arm than
I think he's a better thrower.
Oh, yes. Right, as a rookie, if you compare the rookie seasons. Either way, there's a difference, I think, with speed and just overall kind of quickness that can be worked on, but it can't be drastically changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like Lamar Jackson's speed, that can't be learned.
Yeah, you can't teach
that. Sometimes that's just pure
it's just talent that you're born with.
Right? Same with Justin Fields. What can be worked on is arm strength and just overall accuracy.
Yeah.
That can be developed. That can be worked on. The biggest proof of that is Lamar Jackson, who we now might call a top 10 passer with his arm to go along with his legs, which is why he's such a good quarterback. Yeah. Early on, you didn't see that in his rookie year, right? And you just see him continually develop as a passer. That's the same thing here. Sure, Fields isn't as impressive right now as maybe we thought initially with the passing, but he's showing promise, and we know an ability like that can be worked on. It can be developed, and then soon, over time, as he gets more confident, the speed of the game, he has more knowledge of the playbook, although I think the playbook will change as Matt Nagy leaves this year, as he should, hopefully. But as Justin Fields just gets used to the speed of the NFL game, then we might start seeing. Then we'll start seeing that passing. To go with my Niners though, Shanahan finally, good play calling. We actually took Risks. My favorite play of the day wasn't actually the screen that Deebo Samuel took pretty much 80 yards down the field.
Oh, gosh.
Because sometimes plays like that are just lucky. Because in the end, when you do a play like that on a 2nd and 25, I believe, or third and 25, when
the
you
defense is back, they don't want you to get that first down.
They don't want you to get the first down. A play like that has to have a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
That wasn't so much of a genius play call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That has to have a little bit of luck. What I love, though, is when they did the post route to Deebo Samuel on a 3rd down late in the first half, where they're able to get it down to about the 2 or 3 yard line. That's what I want to see. Stretch the field a little bit. You know what I mean? When you do all these little dink and dunk, short intermediate routes, it's easy for a defense to catch on and shut it down, which is why the Niners have been so horrible in the second half of games, because they haven't changed things. When you start to stretch the field, you notice everything else starts to open up. You know what I mean?
You can run a little more.
Now you can run a little more.
Get in the game.
So it's so important to try to make sure that you just spread the offense out, and that's what I believe they did this week. And then of course Elijah Mitchell, that running game was back again with the stretch plays. But again, that's due to Shanahan, I think, being a little more aggressive with the medium to deep routes.
I think it's so crazy though that Deebo is still dominating.
No, dude.
It's
even as a Niner fan, I was thinking, okay, Deebo's having.
Yeah, he's gonna go down, but he's
still gonna be. I thought Deebo was still gonna be a 1,000-yard receiver, but right now he's looking like
he might break some records
beyond 1,000-yard season right now. The way Deebo's playing, he's the only receiver right now this season to have 3 150-yard receiving games.
Man, he's the whole offense for you guys. Because George Kittle does nothing.
Well, Kittle's injured.
Well, even when he comes back,
we underutilized Kittle.
Yeah, he's not gonna do anything. But Deebo.
Oh, dude.
Deebo Samuel is like the entire 49ers offense.
He's a big part of that passing game, man.
If there's any reason that Deebo does not play, I promise you there's no way you guys
There's another thing I wanted to say. We finally passed the ball to Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk finally had 7 targets this game.
Ooh.
Finally getting some attention and had some big plays, also catching the 2-point conversion. And then having a couple deep passes that help keep the drive alive. That's what I want to see. Use your weapons. Because this is when you really list it out, it's a good potential offense. Jimmy Garoppolo right now, but we know Trey Lance in the future, who I still believe has great potential, truly. You know, like with his running ability and then the arm talent that can be developed, right, with Trey Lance. Then you have Elijah Mitchell at running back, who looks like a pretty good rookie running back. He's only 50 yards behind Najee
every
Harris.
Running back for the Niners turns out to be good.
In the end, it's a system too.
Yeah, I don't know why, but no matter what running back it is, they're always going to be good.
And we get Jeff Wilson back, who's also another young running back talent at the end of last year who looked good. We have George Kittle, who we know when we use him right, can be the best, considered the best tight end in the league. And then we also have Deebo Samuel now, and we have Brandon Ayuk, who we saw last year was extremely talented. This offense has potential. We just need to stop focusing on just trying to get the ball to one player. And, maybe that's also on Garoppolo. Like, in a sense, the way Garoppolo just tries to zone in on his one target.
Because Garoppolo can give it to Kittle if he wants to.
He can. Garoppolo I will say one thing about Garoppolo is I feel like he doesn't read the field as much. And he more locks in, which is, why he can make some bad errors. But we didn't see that from this week. And in the end, too, the Niners are sitting right now, I believe, at the 9th seed, and they're technically tied.
Very, very. I think this year in the NFL has been one of the years where no one is really dominating.
No.
Everyone seems to lose at some point.
At some point. Like, we have Carolina right now who's sitting 4-4. They're still sitting at the 7th seed. I guarantee you last year, if they had a run like that, they would have dropped completely.
You had teams like the Steelers who are undefeated. And obviously the Steelers now, you can see, they're not even winning games.
They beat the Browns. It's funny enough they're sitting at 4-3, but I don't see that lasting. But the only thing I'm going to say is just, like you're saying, there's no alpha. Yeah. I don't see an alpha.
There's a lot of teams it's moving.
Yes,
every
big
single
time. Week. It's very sporadic. It's all over the place. I don't see a full last year. I remember I was just seeing a full set 7 teams.
Yeah, and
I was like, oh yeah, these are playoff teams. Like right now, who knows? Right now with New Orleans, who knows if they even last? Sitting there,
they didn't get a quarterback.
You know, they didn't get a quarterback, especially. But like, New Orleans is a team that's beating the Bucs and the Packers now, but has also lost to the Giants and gave the Giants their first win of the season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're a team that lost to the Panthers, and the Panthers are a team who lost to, you know, the Vikings.
Didn't they lose to a bad team?
The Panthers also lost to the Eagles.
Exactly. Eagles, yeah.
So it's so all over the place.
Yeah. So,
you know, I'm not finding consistency right now. The only teams I see consistency with right now are the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Cardinals. And the Cardinals just had their first loss though, and now with Kyler Murray having that, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks.
So now the Cardinals are going to be down.
That could be interesting. We'll see how valuable Kyler Murray truly is to that team right now.
This will really tell his MVP candidacy.
Yeah, because if they do bad and then he comes back and they start winning again, I think it should be a lock for him to win MVP.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing consistency basically. So the Cardinals, the Rams, the Cowboys, the Packers. But I'm seeing nothing in the AFC.
I think the Raiders are the best team in the league.
Moving on. Moving on. We got the Titans versus the Colts. We just want to briefly cover this one in the fact that
Derrick Henry is gone.
Derrick Henry is
most likely for the end of the rest
of the
season.
To the end of the regular season. The only time he has a chance of coming back is in the playoffs.
And without Derrick Henry, who's their backup? McNichols or something?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? I don't know who the hell you are. Go to McDonald's and get you a job, because the NFL, you're not going to be a star in there.
I think we're also going to see now just how valuable Derrick Henry is to this team.
And
I
why
think his MVP candidacy.
We all know how valuable he is.
No,
I think A.J. Brown is not going to be able to carry this offense without Julio Jones.
Well, it's not just, it's Julio Jones being out, and it's Ryan Tannehill. Now we're going to see what Ryan Tannehill is really about. Because in the end, you could say a lot of his success was due to the fact that he was able to succeed so much off of the play action with Derrick Henry gone.
We're saying McNichols, but they did pick up somebody.
Adrian Peterson.
Who's probably like 48 right now.
Yeah, but, he's extremely old, but a veteran.
He definitely can't get 30 carries like Derrick Henry was.
No, he can't. And I also think that this O-line, this Titans O-line was definitely just being it was being aided by the fact that Derrick Henry is just so good.
He's as big as the O-line.
Because Derrick Henry has way too much contact before the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When running the ball. But we'll see how that goes out. And then on the other hand, Carson Wentz, the Colts had this game, and this would have been a big win for Indianapolis to get right back in it. And
Shucks.
And the Colts, like they've been doing all year, just fall short. And Carson Wentz had his first truly just bad game of the year.
Yeah. And I definitely gotta
say
my apologies.
Apologize right now.
Michael Pittman.
Thank you.
I've been saying for a while that you are not a good receiver, and I apologize for that. But I still don't think he's on the level of a wide receiver one.
Okay, see,
he's not on the level of these good wide receivers.
Why do you?
But he is a good receiver.
We are seeing right now a wide receiver one develop before our eyes.
He's developing. He's gonna be good later years. But right now,
you just can't give him.
You
can't just give him a compliment.
I'm sorry though, Michael Pittman. Right now, you are the wide receiver one for the Colts, and you have been making some great plays.
Thank you.
You've had some great stats this year.
Thank you.
And I know you'll have a good career.
Thank you. That's enough. That's enough, because I know it's hurting you not to say anything else.
I want to say something else.
That's enough.
But, I'll leave
so credit to that. But the Colts right now,
love your YouTube.
It's a weird situation right now for the Colts. Because yes, they just lost, and it seems like that could be a detrimental part to the season. But now you have the Titans, who could possibly struggle with Derrick Henry out.
Not possible.
And the Colts now having an easier schedule going all the way through. So we could see how that kind of shifts out. I still think that this Colts team is truly better than their record shows.
Yeah, they are.
They lost games that they have no business losing. Let's move on. God, dude, right when I give you guys credit, I went out of my way. I went out of my way to get stats for your players. I apologized. I said, you know what? I kept saying that this team isn't legit. I'm sorry. I went out of my way. I looked up every player on that defense to give them the credit that they deserve. Man. And the Bengals just lay an egg against the Jets. What is up with the Jets beating elite teams only?
Man. The Bengals.
And it wasn't even... Oh, that's the point. It was the Jets with Mike White at quarterback.
Destroyed them.
Yes.
Who know? Do you know who Mike White is?
No.
You know what college you went to?
No, but he's a rookie quarterback drafted.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Mike White is going to start over Zach Wilson because Zach Wilson ain't never did nothing like this. He ain't never won nobody a $130,000 bet. I know you guys seen the bet where someone bet for Mike White.
$1,000 that Mike White would pass for.
He would lead the league in passing this week.
Oh, this week, and he did.
And yeah,
405 yards.
405 yards. One thing that I did notice throughout the game, just looking at the stats, Joe Mixon has kind of diminished. I thought that he was gonna have a lot of potential. He hasn't really done anything.
He hasn't been utilized well in this offense yet. It's been more pass favor, and that's not like a bad thing. Here's the thing. People are going to look again. This is where the quarterback could get a little bit too much blame. I've already seen people looking at like, damn, like what's wrong with Burrow, But Burrow passed for 3 touchdowns, only had 1 interception that was a tip up, because of just a full rush in his face. The Bengals offense played a good game. 31 points could win you most games.
Oh yeah.
How
the defense allowed the Jets
to score 34 points?
I mean, Mike White, man, I think, honestly, this sounds weird to say, I honestly feel like Mike White won them the game. I don't even feel like it was the Bengals defense. Because I was watching it, it literally looked like he was just making plays.
Okay, yeah, 100%.
So I think that he's going to help out this Jets team.
This is where I want to ask you, because this feels like a similar situation to what we saw like back in 2011. The Washington Redskins drafted RG3 with, I believe it was the second pick.
Yeah, he was a very high pick.
He was the first.
1, 2, or 3.
It was 1 or 2, but they selected RG3. And later in the 5th round, they also drafted Kirk Cousins, who Kirk Cousins ended up turning out to be the long-term starter for Washington and then move on to get his own big contract in Minnesota. Are we seeing a similar situation here where we're going to see a little bit of Zach Wilson and then maybe the quarterback that they drafted later in the rounds ends up being their true prize?
Yes, that's exactly.
That's really, right now, you just, after one game, you see it already.
I'm telling you, 1 game. I ain't seen, how many games Zach Wilson played? 7? Mm-hmm. Not 1 game did he pass for 400 yards. Not one of those games. And there was 1 game where I think he threw 3 interceptions. Maybe even 4. 4 interceptions in the game. How many did Mike White throw? 2, I think?
2. 1 was off a tip, though. I still don't think those should really truly go against the quarterback.
And this was his first ever start.
Yeah.
This was his first ever start against a good Bengals team. Well, we thought it was a good Bengals team. But the Bengals have...
Let's not get out of proportion. Here's the thing, because this is a team that the Titans also lost to, but then the Titans going to beat the Bills. It just shows that it goes back to a point, though, that we don't see a alpha dog.
There's no alpha in this league right now.
It's just a whole bunch of betas.
There's tiers, but...
Everyone's just on the same tier.
Yeah.
I see a lot of...
anybody could lose to anybody.
Like, let's just put everyone right there on the same level.
Yeah.
Anyone has a chance to lose.
There's no way that the Titans lost to this team when they beat the Bills. It's not math.
Make it make sense.
The Raiders beat the Ravens.
And then
lost to the Bears.
But
the Ravens beat the Bills. Or the Chargers. Was it the Chargers?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's a big... See, so many triangles going on right now. So many rock, paper, scissors situations going on. Raiders beat the Ravens. But the Ravens beat the Chargers. But the Chargers beat the Raiders.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense.
It's so all over the place. I love it. Frankly, I love it. It makes it exciting. It makes it exciting. It really does. Speaking of the Chargers just lost to the Patriots now. So the Chargers, who... we were really hyped up. Oh, actually, I put it on my notes here. Remember, I don't know if you know, but I wanted you to apologize to another guy, a receiver. Cooper Kupp has been looking for an apology from Trevis for a while now, as Trevis has stated so many times that he is not a true number 1 receiver. Right now, Cooper Kupp is on pace to beat Calvin Johnson's receiving record now at the moment.
He has 10 touchdowns on the season, and we haven't played 10 games, so he averages more than a touchdown a game. Cooper,
You said that the Rams never had a true. You thought it was 2 wide receiver 2s with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp.
I don't want this to sound like I'm a hater, because I'm not a hater. But Cooper Kupp, I never saw it. I never saw the wide receiver 1 potential. I never saw record-breaking potential.
Keyword, saw.
Yeah. Now that I've seen this season, and Matthew Stafford has emerged as a good quarterback for the Rams, a great quarterback for the Rams, one of the best quarterbacks in Rams history already, because they haven't really had good quarterbacks over the last couple of years. And Cooper Kupp, I am sorry.
Okay.
Robert Woods is definitely wide receiver 2. Cooper Kupp. Now, this is what I will say. I do not know if Cooper Kupp would do the same on another team. Not 100% on that.
Yeah,
but for this team alone.
We can't look at what ifs.
For this team alone.
What he's doing on this team.
Cooper Kupp is a wide receiver 1, and he is one of the best wide receivers in the National Football League.
Bingo. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to get out. That's all I needed. Either way, let's go back on the topic here. The Patriots just beat the Chargers. 2 questions I want to ask you after this. Actually, let me just state the yards right now. Mac Jones, 18 of 35, 218 yards, again, for the rookie quarterback. Damian Harris, the running back, 23 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown. A very solid rushing game. And Nelson Aguilar, 3 receptions, 60 yards. On the other hand, Justin Herbert, who was a 1.8 MVP candidate, 18 of 35, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns to 2 INTs, one being a pick 6. Keenan Allen, 6 receptions, 77 yards, and a touchdown. And then Jackson, 3 carries, 79 yards rushing, only because he had that big burst at one point in the game. But I want to ask you 2 questions. Let me start with the first one. Are the Patriots true playoff contenders?
No. See how quickly I answered that one, Drew. Patriots do not have the talent that these other teams have. Their wide receiver 1, I've been wrong in the past. There's no way I'm wrong here. Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, or Nelson Aguilar cannot compare to any other wide receiver 1.
Okay.
You can't tell me those aren't
No,
wide
I can't disagree with that point, but keep going.
And on top of that, Damian Harris, he's a running back. Running backs can all be good. As with the Niners, you can see it's kind of a system thing.
Same here.
It's, if you have a running back, he can thrive. Like Sony Michel, came from the Patriots. What is he doing on the Rams?
Nothing.
0. On defense, they do not have Stephon Gilmore. Who do they have pass rushing Matthew Judon? Besides that, I do not know. They're linebackers. I do not know. They have a lot of question marks on this team, and also Mac Jones is not he's not even a good quarterback in this league yet. He's an average quarterback. They cannot win playoff games.
Okay. I'm going to have to 100% disagree. I'm surprised I'm saying this. At the beginning of the season, I never thought I'd say this. But, yes, on paper, do the Patriots not have as much of great talent as you would assume? Yes. Even the moves that they made, they weren't...
None of them were big.
They were not game-changing moves. You brought out... The biggest one with bringing on the 2 tight ends. Jonnu and Hunter Henry, who are both top tight ends in the league. Top 15, I would say. That was big. They brought in 2 top 15 tight ends. That was the biggest move they made. Bringing in Aguilar was not a big move. It was a solid move. Bringing in Kendrick Bourne was solid move to just, it was cool. It was average.
Cool.
He's cool. Yeah, he's just all right. Bringing in
Sorry.
What was so funny, man?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then bringing in a couple other guys on the defensive end. Judon was a big move on the defensive end. I thought that actually deserved a lot of credit. But it's not like they made these game-changing moves. But just because it looks like an average roster on paper, that doesn't mean anything when Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels are involved.
Bill Belichick has got to be the best coach of all time.
He's the best coach of all time. And you have Josh McDaniels, who's actually turned out to be a pretty damn good offensive coordinator, even without Tom Brady. Here's the thing, Mac Jones, yeah, sure, he's not like putting up incredible numbers, but he's doing good in that system.
He does what he has to do.
He does what he has to do, and he's been making more confident throws throughout each week. I'm seeing it, and I'm more and more impressed.
He doesn't have
credit to him.
this
This guy proved me wrong. He really did. He's looking good, and the defense, again, it's the fact that you have Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a tenacious defense that's gonna be just totally great with it focuses on that pass rush and putting pressure on the quarterback, and then being able to have guys who can force turnovers and make plays. No, they definitely are a playoff contender. This team has looked very good these past few weeks. They've competed with Tampa Bay. They've competed with Dallas, who you might even consider those two teams right there, consider very good teams, right, in the league, top. And now they beat the Chargers.
Who are all top five teams.
Who would consider the Chargers. You consider the Chargers a top team too. So, yes, this team is a contender.
Now, this is what I will say. I think that it's possible for them to make the playoffs. But for them to win a playoff game, I think that's a hell no.
That could be a different subject, especially with who they might end up matching up with.
I don't care who they go up against. If they go into the playoffs, I think it's 100%.
I don't think it's 100%. But I do think it is
90.
Wow, that's still really high. Either way. Wow. Wow, I wouldn't believe that actually. I mean, I still think they're a solid playoff team. On the other hand, did we jump on the Chargers hype train a little too soon? Not in the sense that like we don't think they're gonna all of a sudden not be a playoff team, but are they like the top team in the AFC?
Like a top 3 team. Honestly, I still think that the Chargers are a great team. I do think that they are. The only thing it's kind of weird that you lose to the Patriots, but we also seen the Patriots give the Cowboys some work. So, they got locked up by the Ravens, where they look terrible, atrocious.
No, it's been 2 bad offensive performances now back to back. This is a team that has been top 5 in offense pretty much this entirety, and now in these past few
they've
weeks
been struggling. But teams going to struggle. I think that they'll easily get out of this. It might be one more game, but
you do think they'll get out of this slump?
They'll get out of this little slump. Okay. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that they'll figure it out. And Justin Herbert, he's way too talented to let his team go down like that.
All right. Next one. The Bucs lost to the Saints. Again, this is a Saints team that lost to the Giants. So, again, it's just an all-out-of-place league. But here's a couple things I got to give credit to. The Saints defense forcing 3 turnovers off of Brady, 1 fumble and 2 interceptions. 1 interception that ended up being a pick six
at the end of the game. And at the end of this game, I thought, we're looking at the clock, right? There's 1 minute and 30 seconds left around there.
Time for Brady to...
You're like, it's over.
Yes. Sean Payne got bailed out. His clock management was awful. There was a point where the Saints had the ball with about 2 minutes left, right? And they had a chance to drain the Bucs of at least their 3 timeouts.
No.
They decide to pass on first down, incomplete. They pass on second down, incomplete. So they just saved the Patriots 2 plays there. Then they decide to finally run on that last play and only drain 1 of those timeouts. Yeah. And now you are sitting at a point where Tom Brady still had timeouts to play with and 1:30 on the clock.
And honestly, on the pick 6 play, it wasn't even the Saints defense. If you look at the play, that was a bad throw.
It was a bad read.
That was a terrible.
It was a bad read.
Like, he's looking at the receiver the whole time. There's 2 dudes right here.
It was a crosser.
Yeah. And
crosser, Mike Evans was open if Brady threw it sooner, and he just...
He held it for too long. I don't know what it was. I mean, Brady, he's known for coming through in the clutch, and, I mean, you can't be mad at him for the one time that it doesn't work out. I think that the Bucs lost this game, not the Saints won it.
Yeah. Although I do think this is actually a very good Saints team. A solid Saints team. Solid. With that defense still. Defense deserves a lot of credit for the Saints team right now. And the offense is good enough to get the job done. Yeah. Right? But Jameis Winston is now out for the season with a torn ACL.
And they didn't get a quarterback.
And they didn't get a quarterback. Trevor Siemian was able to finish out this game with a solid performance. But I want to ask you, with Jameis' season being over, does this mean that the Saints season is now over?
Let me think. So, Alvin Kamara is there.
Mm-hmm.
Marquez Callaway.
Mm-hmm.
They got Mark Ingram.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Thomas still isn't playing, but even when he does play, he's a drama queen, and he might not. He'll just, might run some slants. But we'll see how he is with a different quarterback. Yes.
You think it's over?
I think it is over. But be on the lookout. I said this in the beginning of the season. Alvin Kamara was my offensive player of the year. Be on the lookout for Alvin Kamara to maybe go really crazy in some of these games and maybe get like 200 receiving yards.
I like that.
We'll see.
I like that. He does. I can agree to it. A little bit. I do think. I think this. I know Trevor Seaman could be a guy he's a solid passer. When you've seen him on the Broncos, he's one of those. He looks like Daniel Jones in a sense that he could throw a good pass, but he's not great with reading the defense, and he's very inconsistent. He's in a better system now with Sean Payton. That being said, no, I still think Simeon's a guy who will once he gets figured out, it's over.
It's over because the teams didn't study for Simeon, so it's kind of like. It's just like what happened with Marcus Mariota on the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
It also happens with Trey Lance sometimes.
Yeah.
He comes in the game, and people aren't really expecting him to come in, and he's going to have a great play because, no one scouts him.
Yeah.
But if people scout him, it's going to be bad.
Yeah, so I think it is. And especially, there are teams that are waiting right there to get into that playoff spot. You know. It's not like the Saints are ahead up right now with their record. There are teams that are still very close to them. So, a little concerning, I would definitely say. Last one. The Cowboys, even without Dak Prescott, went into Minnesota with Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback and beat the Vikings 20-16. The Cowboys defense is what stood out there as they were able to pick up the slack as the Cowboys offense finally got back in rhythm. I have to ask you this one. Are the Cowboys the best team in the NFL?
What's the Cowboys' record?
They are sitting pretty at 6-1.
Who was the only team that they lost to?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the start of the season.
I'm going to tell you guys this right now. The Dallas Cowboys, they are the father. The Cowboys are the number one team in the NFL right now. But, like we said earlier, the Cowboys could lose to anybody. They almost lost to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
This game alone shows not only is Dak not as amazing for this team. I just want to say that right now. Because there's no way that they should have won this game, in my opinion, without a quarterback. Who the hell is Cooper Rush?
The one thing I got to say, okay, to disagree with that point, because I'll tell you this. If they had Dak Prescott,
they would have blew him out.
Then we would have been talking about like a 35-16 game.
I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback. What I'm saying is he's not as responsible for their wins.
No, it's got to be credit to the whole team.
Yeah, it's not just Dak Prescott should not be in the MVP just because of this game, I would say. Because most valuable.
Yeah.
If you could beat a good Vikings team without your quarterback, it's not really the quarterback. Great defense. They have so many receivers. Amari Cooper took over this game. But, the next game might be CeeDee Lamb.
And then when they get Michael Gallup back, then all of a sudden that's another weapon.
Man, and then Ezekiel Elliott didn't do too much in this game. Mm-hmm. But in the next game, he could have 3 touchdowns.
Then it's Tony Pollard.
Yeah, so it's...
So, yeah. I have to say yes. Now, we're going to do our mid-season, power rankings and everything next week as we get to week 9. But right now, as of week 8, the Dallas Cowboys are sitting pretty first in total offense. And they're sitting right now third in passing, second in rushing. No other team is doing that. Yes, definitely they are the best team in the NFL. Now, their defensive ranking is down to 19. But what's big for them is their turnover differential. Because we said it before, this defense does give up yards on many occasions. But what does this defense also do that is so big? They get the ball back to that incredible offense.
Incredible offense.
Right?
Yeah, it's one of the best offenses in the league.
And when it hurts when you have a defense that can give up yards, and they still got some weak spots that they need to fill out, and it's just guys kind of getting just adjusted a little bit, right? At some point they'll get DeMarcus Lawrence back too, probably late in the season. That's going to be a big help to that D line with Randy Gregory already, right?
That's going to be scary.
That's going to be scary
because Randy Gregory came out of nowhere.
Yes, so that's going to be big. But again, this Cowboys defense knows how to force turnovers and to help out their offense. Yeah. So yes, they give up the big play every now and then. But then by the end of the drive, who has the ball in their hands?
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. In the end, I know they give up a lot of yards. So defensive total yardage, that's where the stats don't tell the whole story though, because the Cowboys defense
get turnovers.
They get turnovers, man. That's huge. I think people are starting to try to underrate how big that really is.
If you really
especially with an offense like that.
You think about it. The more times your offense gets a chance to score, that's more likely that you score a touchdown, which means that you're more likely to outscore the team and win the game.
And the thing is, too, is it's not just like they're getting it back to any average offense. They're giving it back to the best in the league right now, right? And it's not just that, too. It's the way that this offense works. It can just pick you down the field slowly.
Because they have
draining
everything.
time.
They have a good O-line. Great O-line, actually. I'm sorry. I can't say good.
Yeah.
A really good quarterback. A good running back. An above average backup running back that I've seen. Two I don't want to say great. I want to say really good wide receivers.
Yeah.
I don't want to say great, but really good wide receivers. And then Trayvon Diggs is leading the league in interceptions. And they also have Michael Parsons, who's just going to get sacks after sacks after sacks. Randy Gregory going to get sacks too. So it's just all in all, Cowboys are they're disgusting, man.
And bingo, that's the stat I wanted to look up. The Cowboys right now are also 5th in time of possession. So it's not like this is an offense that
doesn't get the ball.
Yes. And the second thing is, too, it's not like an offense that gets the ball and then can just quickly go down the field. I like the way their offense is run, is the way they just slowly chip away at that defense. It gives their defense time to rest.
And the other
and it just tires that defense out, especially when you get the ball back and then they do it again and again and again. Yeah. I like the way it's run. And also, I got to give McCarthy credit. That was a good game that he coached.
Yeah, it was. I think the Cowboys as a whole definitely.
That was McCarthy's best game coaching.
Got to show that they are the best team in the league.
Yes, 100%. So that will conclude Week 8 for us right now. Let's move on to finish off the NFL part, the Week 9 predictions. Now, as I mentioned before, Trevis has a 4-point lead right now, but let's see if that changes this week.
It's not going to change. Well, actually, it will change. I'm going to extend it a little bit.
No. Either way, let's start off. Week 9. To open up, we have the Jets versus the Colts. Who do you have? The Jets just come off a big win.
Honestly,
with Mike White.
It sounds weird to say. I am a little skeptical about this game. But
it's in Indianapolis.
I'm going to go with the Colts.
I am too. I got the Colts for this one. Next one. Browns versus Bengals. Now, this is a dangerous one because the Browns just lost to the Steelers in disappointing fashion. Again, their offense with another letdown. But the Bengals also just had a letdown as well.
Bengals just lost to the Jets. I'm going to go with Browns.
Wow. Okay. I'm going with the Bengals.
Okay. Well,
I think I'll see a little more motivation from the Bengals having lost to the Jets, and I still think this is a Bengals team that's just.
I do think that the Bengals have more potential than the Browns do this season, but I don't know. I really feel like Nick Chubb hasn't really done much this year.
So you're expecting
this might be a big Nick Chubb game.
You're expecting something big. Okay. I can respect that. Again, that's one that could really go either way, so that's a dangerous one. Next one, Broncos versus Cowboys.
I'm definitely going to go with the Broncos here. Yeah.
I'm going with the Cowboys, and again, I had a bad week, so I got to make sure to use my locks well. So I'm locking that the Cowboys win this game because it pretty much is a lock.
Cowboys are
with Dak if they have
They're
Dak
definitely
Prescott.
winning this game.
Next one, Texans versus Dolphins. Again, another one that could throw you for
I don't even know who is it. Davis Mills.
Still Mills.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dolphins.
Okay, I'm going with the Dolphins too.
Yeah,
I think the Dolphins are still, talent wise, they're still solid. They're just not really coming through this season. Falcons versus Saints. Now we have the Saints who are with Trevor Siemian. Does the decline already start for Trevor Siemian at the Saints?
No, it does not.
Nope.
Because the Falcons do not have Calvin Ridley. He probably will not be back for a long time. And I think
till
that's
the end of the season, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably gonna focus more on the Kyle Pitts, Cordell Patterson, and
no one else.
That the Saints have a little more talent.
Yes, and especially defensively going against a hurt Falcons offense.
Yeah,
I have to go with the Saints too. Next one, Raiders versus Giants. Now, I made this prediction yesterday, and now they're missing Henry Ruggs.
Oh man.
But I still got to go with the Raiders.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, I still have to.
I'm so happy that it's the Giants that we're playing. Because if it was a different team, I would be scared.
Although it's a little more scary, though.
Because of what they did last week.
Yes, 100%. The Giants were competitive with the Chiefs, and now this is a Raiders team that could be a little thrown off now with everything going on.
Yeah.
Who knows, right?
But
it's also the Raiders team coming off a bye week, so I expect them to be prepared.
Yeah. But we probably had a lot of things planned for Henry Ruggs for this game, and that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. But be on the lookout for Darren Waller. He hasn't been that good this season. He's going to start emerging more because Henry Ruggs is out.
Next one, Patriots versus Panthers in Carolina.
This is my first lock. It's a
okay.
little bold. Patriots.
Cool. I'm going with the Patriots too. I don't think Dwight Schrute on the Panthers is going to be able to do too much.
No, the Patriots also showed, as we said earlier, that they can beat a lot of good teams.
They could beat a lot of good teams and compete with them as well. Bills versus Jaguars. I said I was being safe with my locks. I got the Bills as a lock against the Jaguars. I'm not taking any risks this week. Buffalo.
This is my lock as well.
Okay.
Buffalo.
Cool. Next one. This might be your game of the week. I remember you saying yesterday. Vikings versus Ravens.
Oh, yeah. This is the game of the week for me. Because I feel like Lamar is going to have a great game against this Vikings defense that I don't think can handle it.
No? I got the Ravens. I got the Ravens as well. It's in Baltimore. I think the Vikings could be a little demoralized right now.
Yeah, and we've seen what the Ravens defense did to the Chargers.
Yeah, it's still a solid Ravens defense, Yeah. Next one, Chargers and I got to mention the Vikings in their first half. They're one of the top offensive leaders for first half. Second half, they drop all the way to bottom 20. Yeah. Not bottom 20, but like into the 20s. Crazy. So this Vikings team isn't a team that could just finish out the game. Next one. Chargers versus Eagles. Chargers. Okay, cool. Another one. This is my game of the week. The Packers versus the Chiefs. It's not so much the game of the week because of I don't think it'll be super, super close. But I think because of the implications that it has for both teams.
Yeah. Do you have a lock on this one?
No, I don't.
Do you think it'd be bold?
Could be, but not really.
Could be. How about this? Because I like to make things a little spicy.
Okay.
I like to make things a little spicy. I had the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to switch it to the Chiefs. And I'm going to put a lock on it as well.
See, okay, I'm going to give you a chance to say, do you really want to do this?
I really want to do this. You know why? Because Patrick Mahomes hasn't gone against a superstar QB yet. And I think that this game might be the change.
Well, he did go against Lamar.
Lamar's not a passing quarterback, though.
So let's say, maybe are you trying to, let's not say superstar, because there's Lamar
superstar,
and Josh Allen are superstar QBs. Aaron Rodgers is a career.
Like a legendary quarterback like Aaron
season.
Rodgers or Tom Brady. He hasn't gone against them this year. And I think this is the game where he might step it up. Might want to go a little bold.
It's in Kansas City. I I get what you're saying. You're really doing a good job of convincing me to go with the Packers. I gotta go with Green Bay. In the end, they just came off a good win against the Cardinals team, and now they're gonna get healthy a little more and get their guys back. Next one. Colt McCoy-led Cardinals are going to go into Levi's Stadium to take on the 49ers. How is that going to look?
Sorry, 49ers. You guys suck. I'm going with the Cardinals.
Okay. I know we've looked bad in many instances, but I don't think we're bad enough to lose to a Colt McCoy-led Cardinals team. I think this is where we start to see how valuable Kyler Murray is to this team, and it starts with the Niners getting a win here.
All right. Well,
Hopefully.
if you guys lose this game, let's wrap up the season. Let's wrap it up. Let's be out, guys.
Next one. Titans versus Rams without Derrick Henry. And the Rams just got Von Miller. I think you already know where I'm going. Yeah, the Rams. This would have been my game of the week in any other situation, but it's just not going to set up for it. It could be the possibility to have a lackluster Sunday night game. Next one. Bears versus Steelers for Monday night. Can we stop giving the Steelers primetime games?
No one wants to watch the Steelers.
It's not an entertaining offense.
But the Bears, Justin Fields, I still feel like he needs a little bit more time. I'm going to roll with the Steelers on this.
In the end, the Steelers do have a top 5 defense in the league.
Yeah.
And this could prove to be trouble for Justin Fields.
Yeah, he's going to struggle.
Okay. Good. So that'll end it for our Week 9 predictions. So look ahead for the possibility, not the possibility, but look ahead for our mid-season rankings.
Yeah, that'll be next week.
Week.
And Joe's going to say a lot of blasphemy. So
Don't think it'll be that crazy now.
be ready, guys.
Let's relax.